All right, what's going on, guys? So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the wish list that I have, or I should say my expectations for the Apple event that's going to be taking place pretty soon in September. And I don't really follow rumors or leaks too much just because it kind of takes away the element of surprise of what Apple is going to announce. Like if I knew they're going to have some certain feature in the iPhone and I see them announce, it's like, oh wow, I already knew that. So I don't really like to follow leaks and rumors too much on that, but let's start off with my wish list. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the iPod. And I'm just kidding. I don't even know if Apple even makes the iPod anymore because I don't know. Do people even buy the iPod? Like the iPhone is so cheap now that you can just buy the iPhone and use it as your iPod. But all right, so probably the hottest topic in this entire event is probably going to be the new iPhone, the iPhone 12 or the 11s, whatever people are going to call it. It's supposed to be the S cycle this year, so I'm not expecting too many hardware changes. Maybe a macro lens, although I don't really see Apple putting a macro lens on their iPhone. Maybe they might import the LiDAR scanner that they have on the iPad Pro to help with like augmented reality with the depth sensor and stuff like that. But overall, in terms of the design, I'm not really expecting too much. All right, so the next feature that I'm looking forward to on the new iPhone is going to be ProMotion. And all ProMotion really is, it's just the high refresh rate that you get on the display. And I know Apple has been keeping that away from the iPhone because I don't know if consumers are really complaining about not having a high refresh rate. But I think with Apple really pushing Apple Arcade on their phones and high refresh rate really comes only into play when gaming. At least that's what I can think of. I think having a high refresh rate would be beneficial, and it would be nice to even have that option. So if people want to, have better battery life, that they can turn it off and just use the regular 60 hertz that it's displaying. Or what would be even cooler is if you can implement the LPTO technology that you have on the Apple Watch Series 5. Maybe in certain applications it can go up to 120 hertz. Maybe even with this technology, you can have the always on display on the iPhone as well, running at 1 hertz. I think that would be pretty cool. So adaptive display, ProMotion, I think that would be pretty cool to see on the new iPhones. So the next feature I'm really looking forward to on the new iPhone is getting rid of the lightning cable. Now, I'm not going to say it's a bad port. I love the lightning cable in the port, although I think it's time to be unified with the rest of the world and just move forward with USB Type-C. There's not much convincing on this part, but Apple, please, USB-C. Please. Now, another nice feature would be improved Face ID or somehow bring back Touch ID. After using some Android phones this year, I've discovered that the in-display fingerprint reader is actually much more beneficial than I think what people believe it is. Yes, Face ID is nice. It's been pretty consistent, but in terms of my phone being flat on the table, it would be nice to have some type of camera technology or software where if it's flat on the table, that if I were to want to unlock my screen, it would be able to read my face and unlock. But if you guys can't do that, have some type of fingerprint sensor with Touch ID. Have it on the back like the Pixel, have it in the display like majority of Android phones, have it on the side on the lock button. Do something, but if you guys don't do that, it's not a deal breaker, but I'm speaking as an Apple fan. Please bring back some type of fingerprint sensor. That is probably top priority on my list. The next feature I want to see on the new iPhone is 5G. Now, this isn't really for me. This is more of just what I think the global audience should have in their smartphones because 5G is becoming more predominant in markets around the world as well as in the US. I mean, I'm on Sprint, so no comment. But shout out to T-Mobile for acquiring us. Really do appreciate that. I know Apple connectivity is also really good, so if you guys can put 5G in your phones, also for future proofing, that would be amazing. Although I am expecting the price to be more expensive in the 5G phones, obviously. All right, so the last thing that I'm looking forward to in the new iPhone is going to be that new A14 Bionic chip. Whether it's going to be Bionic or not, I don't know, but obviously I'm expecting a performance improvement, maybe some power efficiency, but I want you guys to do what you guys did for the A13 Bionic chip. I know a lot of people talk about core count, benchmark scores, how fast this thing runs, but I really like how they focused on the deep fusion technology that they have with the neural engine that's in the A13 Bionic chip. So if you guys can pull out another real cool feature from the A14 Bionic chip, I think that would be pretty beneficial to the consumers. All right, next up I want to talk about the Apple Watch, and believe it or not, I actually don't own an Apple Watch. Even though they've been out for 6 years, I've always just preferred Fitbit in terms of fitness and overall battery life, and that's the first thing I want to see improved on the Apple Watch is battery life. For me, I get about 1.5 days when I was using the Apple Watch Series 5, and that's just not enough for me. Although, like I said, if you're a person who only uses their phone during the day, you don't wear it to sleep or overnight, then battery life's not going to be an issue for you. But for people who want to track their sleep, maybe their body temperature, which I'll get into later, while they're sleeping, I do think that that would be a pretty cool feature to have that improved battery life in the new Apple Watch Series 6. So body temperature reading, this is something that Fitbit is implementing in their Fitbit Sense. I believe that's coming out later in September, where it's able to read your body temperature. I know the Oura Ring already does that. Now, how accurate these things are, I don't know, but it's nice to have some type of guidance. And I don't really like sticking things in my mouth to know what my temperature is. So having that temperature reading on my wrist would be pretty cool for the Apple Watch Series 6. All right, so this isn't on my wish list, but this is what I'm expecting Apple to do in terms of, a business move. It makes sense. For the Apple Watch, they need to just do everything else that they're doing on the rest of their lineup. So they need to have a regular Apple Watch that's going to be priced a little bit lower, and then they need to have a Pro model. And as stupid as this sounds, I know this is going to sound ridiculous to a lot of people, but after using the Apple Watch OS 7 beta, the washing hands, if your kids cannot wash their hands for 20 seconds and you need to slap on an Apple Watch for them, but you don't want to pay for the Pro model and just get the lower end one, I don't know if it's going to be like kids edition or just get the non-Pro Apple Watch, slap it on the wrist, and then the Apple Watch will tell them how long to wash their hands for. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I do believe people in the Apple ecosystem and family, I can believe them buying their children an Apple Watch just for that feature alone. And then, the adults can have, the full-fledged features of the Apple Watch with the Pro model. In terms of pricing, I don't know how that's going to work out. I also don't know if the non-Pro model is going to have a bigger version. It really doesn't make sense for that. Also, I do think having a non-Pro and a Pro model will help Apple get more market share, even though I do think they dominate a lot of the smartwatch category. I think only this would, I guess, make the gap even bigger. So next up, I want to talk about the iPad. I'm not really expecting too much of the iPad, honestly, because they did refresh it this year. Maybe they might do something with the pencil. I'm not really seeing it. But in terms of the iPad, I'm not really expecting too much here in this category. So next up are AirPods. And in terms of the AirPods Pro, I have had a few complaints. I actually had to get both of these buds replaced because I was one of the first people who had the issues with the crackling happening, and I got it replaced, but I really don't know what else they could do for the AirPods in general. I think Apple also has a pretty big market share on the earbuds category, but I don't know what else they could do. I mean, I guess maybe on the second gen AirPods have some type of noise canceling. Like I said, I don't really know what else they could do. And I'm also thinking that, they have their Beats lineup, but I do think that Apple might implement some type of their own version of the over-ear headphones, but I don't want them to just completely gut the Beats lineup. If they do that, that's gonna be pretty unfortunate towards Beats, even though they did get acquired by Apple, but have some type of over-ear headphones with the Apple logo. I'm sure that thing will sell like hotcakes. So another big hot topic that I think people are going to be talking about, that I can't believe I'm talking about this now at the end of the video, is going to be Apple Silicon. Whether they're going to do like a live demonstration of performance or power efficiency between their Intel counterparts, I don't know. I feel like that might take up a little bit too much stage time. Not stage time, it's pre-recorded anyway. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they might leave that for third-party reviewers. But if they do decide to showcase that, I think that would be pretty nice. I'm really only expecting it in the Mac Mini as well as in the MacBook. I'm not sure they're going to put it in their MacBook Pro. And I don't know if they're going to put it in their iPads yet. Not iPads, iMacs yet. But if they do decide to just surprise us and put Apple Silicon in everything that used to have Intel, that would be a huge shocker. So if Apple decides to do that, that would be pretty cool. I'm trying to think of what else could be in this event. Apple TV, but it's like, first of all, who actually owns Apple TV? Is Apple even dominant in this market? Like in terms of value of getting 4K, you might as well just buy a Amazon Fire Stick. Like that thing in terms of value is incredible. You know, Apple, maybe you can make a Apple Stick 4K, although it'd probably still be more than the Fire Stick, although you would be part of the ecosystem, but I don't know. Apple TV is kind of weird. I'm not really expecting too much. Maybe they'll throw in a new chip, maybe more storage, maybe just a new chip, that's it. I think that's pretty much it. Oh wait, one last thing. Add in another ridiculously overpriced accessory. Maybe if we want an online copy of our receipt of what we just purchased this year with the Apple logo at the bottom, that could be $500. Okay guys, with all that being said, that is my wish list and what I'm expecting in the Apple event coming out in September. It'll be funny looking back on this video to see what I got right, what I got wrong, but hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know down in the comments below what you are expecting from this Apple event. And as always, guys, much love.